That's Sutton. I'm Simply, and this is the Purple Rain Report. Welcome back to another Purple Rain Report with Sutton Def and Simply AS10. You can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. Follow this guy on Instagram, on Twitter, or Threads at Sutton Def. You can follow me on Instagram at simplyas10.prod or on Threads, and then on Twitter at simplyas10. And most importantly, our sponsor. You don't forget about them, Manscaped. When you go out there, get yourself something nice, if you're a man, the grooming up and below the waist, or if you want to get some cream for your raisins, I'll call him that. Um, yeah, I was watching a Marshawn Lynch mic'd up, and he called him that, and I damn near pissed myself. Or if you want to get some boxers, you can go on there, order, and use code PRP for 20% off your whole order and free shipping. Great deal.
Yeah, you guys heard it there first. Real quick, you mentioned you were watching a mic'd up of Marshawn Lynch. Now, I assume you like to watch a lot of these mic'd up videos because you clip them and you put them on TikTok, which I so greatly appreciate. I just love seeing like those forgotten moments, or even just moments that I never even knew happened in the first place.
Yeah.
Like you post them on your TikTok. So again, make sure you follow Simply AS10 on TikTok as well, because he's putting out some great content on there. Yeah, absolutely. And again, we also still congratulating our guy for 50,000 subscribers on YouTube. That doesn't stop, right?
And training camp time too. So Ravens report,
yeah,
in a couple of days, next week maybe.
Yeah. So next week, guys, is going to be busy. We're going to have news about training camp and all that stuff. So it won't be as slow as it's been in the past couple of weeks. So that's good. Make sure you guys like this video. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. We'd appreciate it. But listen, we got a couple things we want to touch on in this report. First thing is, we know that the Ravens have been kind of speculating about getting another edge rusher. Recently, there's been news in the media and talks that the Ravens are interested in one Dwayne Smoot. Dwayne Smoot, former Jacksonville Jaguar defensive end. This news I actually just heard about. I think it was either today or yesterday. I can't remember when it exactly came out. But Alex, what was your initial reaction, or just your overall reactions to this interest from the Ravens?
Yeah, I kind of was like, all right, well, it's a visit next week. Not saying we're going to sign him, but it's a visit. I think he got hurt last year, so they probably want to see how he is physical-wise. But my question is, like, is this maybe a tactic to try to get Justin Houston to resign? I remember, 2 years ago, I think, like, Sammy Watkins visited the Ravens and he went to the Colts. But they kind of used Sammy Watkins visiting to re-sign T.Y. Hilton. Like, are we bringing him in to maybe try it as a tactic to re-sign Justin Houston? I don't think so. I mean, I personally want Justin Houston back just because he is familiar with this defense. But if we were to sign Smoot, I look at it as like a JPP signing last year. I'm not going to sit there and be an every down guy. But, I mean, looking at what he did the past couple of years, I have his stats pulled up. 5 sacks last year in 15 games. I mean, I don't hate it for a guy that, isn't going to be every down. When I look at the percentage of snaps he played, his last couple of games, 70% of snaps, 63, 55, 45, 42. So not an every down guy, but he was still getting some type of production. I don't hate it, but we talked about it beforehand. It's a really Ravens-esque move. But what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like we said, a Ravens move, but it really doesn't move me at all. Again, I think I speak for both of us and a lot of people listening right now. We want Justin Houston back. Just bring him back, man. I mean, like, he has experience with this team. He had damn near 10 sacks last year. I mean, it feels like a no-brainer. Like, get this guy in the building. We have the cap space to make it work. I don't know exactly how much he's asking for this year, but I feel like if we can negotiate a deal with Lamar Jackson after 2 years, I'm pretty sure we can get something done with Justin Houston just for one more season. just to give us that insurance at that edge rusher position, because we know we are one person getting hurt away from that position being extremely thin all of a sudden. You know, kind of same thing goes for the DB room too, right? But
Yeah. And can I
yeah,
interest you in something about Justin Houston last year? I just looked up his stats. He missed 3 games. I
yeah,
just I just kind of remembered that he missed against Buffalo, Cincy, and the Giants. Week
wow.
4, 5, and 6, and he still put up 9.5 sacks and interception.
So 9.5 sacks and an interception in what, 14 games?
Yep.
Not half bad. Not half bad at all.
I mean,
I mean, think about it, Ravens. I don't know what we're dragging our feet for. Maybe we're just kind of, maybe once training camp starts and things really get going, the ball gets moving, maybe they'll put their pedal on, or their foot on the gas pedal a little bit more and get that done. That is the hope for sure.
yeah.
For
I
sure.
mean, Jadeveon Clowney's out there, so is Melvin Ingram. But like you said, for speaking for both of us, it just makes so much sense to re-sign Houston. And
Right.
it's not like he's not like this culture guy that only gets 2 sacks and he's good for the locker room. No, like he produces. He's a leader. We lost Calais Campbell. We need a guy like him up front.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I definitely think that the whole vocal leader thing is going to be important for our defense this year because, I mean, hey, there is no more Calais Campbell, right? And we have a Roquan Smith who is seemingly going to step into that role. But Roquan Smith is still a relatively young player. So having a Justin Houston in there would just totally, help him out with that. So the hope is we bring him back. Who knows what the Ravens will do, but I think that he's important for more than just what he offers on the field.
1,000,000%. Yeah, right behind you.
Yeah, yeah. So let's go ahead and transition to the next topic that we have here, which is Marcus Peters, right? Marcus Peters, we knew kind of like halfway through the offseason that, hey, he's probably not going to be a Raven going into this upcoming season. What is the latest news you've heard about Marcus Peters?
Yeah, so I think last night, 9 o'clock, around 9 o'clock, I believe. Maybe this is just 9 o'clock local Vegas time, so it'd be 11 o'clock Eastern time. A tweet came out from one of the beat writers at the Las Vegas Review Journal who said, "It feels like Marcus Peters to the Raiders is inevitable." That's all he said. Uh, Peters obviously visited with the Raiders a couple of months ago, about a month ago or so ago. Not sure how it went, but the way it sounds like is he will be sporting that black and silver for them. Um, Hurts my soul. It's not 100% over the line done, but this is something that you probably will see maybe over the weekend or within the next week or so. So yeah, Marcus Peters looks like he will be a Raider. I wish him the best of luck. He did nothing but great things for us. I want him back. I'll still take him back in a heartbeat. But it's a business. What are your thoughts on MP to LA or to LV? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is one of those bittersweet things. I mean, Marcus Peters is one of those guys who, we brought in, and I know you guys can hear my dog in the background. He, say hello, Ace. Yeah. Anyway, Marcus Peters is one of those guys who he was a veteran that we brought in, kind of like a Calais Campbell, kind of like a Justin Houston, who impacted games in such a way that were just unforgettable. Marcus Peters, Lamar Jackson's only playoff win, right, against the Titans. Who sealed the deal? Marcus Peters. Talking about Calais Campbell, clutch blocks on field goals, like seals the deal, like X Factor type plays and players. Justin Houston getting clutch sacks, things like that. That's what I'm really gonna miss from Marcus Peters. Like when the going gets tough and you really need one, he was that guy that would get you one, right? So definitely gonna be missed. But like you said, it is a business, and hopefully one of these young guys, maybe a Brandon Stevens takes a step forward, maybe Demarion Williams takes a step forward, maybe Caillou Blue Kelly takes a step forward. Who knows? But yeah, it's bittersweet.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought up Brandon Stevens because I've kind of been a pretty big critic of his, but I'm not gonna lie. I watched some of his film. Great video put up by Huddle Up Films today, and I was like, I don't remember him making all these plays last year, but he low key kind of shut down Garrett Wilson week 1, and I was like, wait a second, and then just kind of going through good play on Pickens. Obviously, Pickens got him back. that's just the type of receiver he is. But yeah, Stevens had a pretty good season last year. So hoping for more of that. Now, with this being said, I do expect us to sign another defensive back. I think you do too. It's just kind of who's left. I mean, do we bring back Kyle Fuller, even though he's coming off of a torn ACL? I know they like what they saw from him in camp last year. Kind of what do we do? But yeah, best of luck to Marcus Peters in his new journey with the Raiders.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what the status of that ACL is like for Kyle Fuller because, I mean, if he is 100% healed from that, which I doubt, it's only been about a year, so he's probably, I don't know, somewhere around like what, 70, 80%, who knows? But you're right, we definitely do need a little bit more insurance at that cornerback position. But that's what I'm saying. I'm hoping one of these young guys can step up. Yeah. Okay. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns about anything that we just talked about, make sure you leave your comments, questions, and concerns down below in the comments section because that's what that is for. While you're there, make sure you scroll up just a little bit and hit that like button because that helps us out a ton. And if you're new listening to the Purple Rain podcast, and this is actually a Purple Rain report. Normally we do live, but today is a Purple Rain report. If you're new, subscribe to the channel and make sure you catch the next live stream, which should be Monday. Training camp is right around the corner, so be ready for that. Lots more content coming you guys' way. Last thing I wanted to touch on, MLS versus Arsenal. Happened last night. Alex is an Arsenal fan, as you guys know.
Yes.
And I just thought, I didn't watch the entire match, admittedly. I watched probably about like 20 minutes or so of it, right? And in that 20 minutes, I was embarrassed as an American that is what we have to offer as a product when it comes to the game of football. Not American football, but actual football, or as us Americans would call it, soccer. We don't have hardly anything to offer, man. It's embarrassing that a team of all-stars, it would be like if you take all the Pro Bowlers in the NFL, right? And they just get waxed by like one foreign team. Like that would be, oh my goodness, man. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. It really put it into perspective like this. And I want to ask you this, Alex, because you're a big Arsenal fan. In the grand scheme of things, how good really is Arsenal? And like, please explain it to me in NFL terms. That would help me out a bunch.
So last year, they led the top of the Premier League for about 240 days. They choked. They choked and they gave it up. And then Manchester City won it. Manchester City won every trophy they could except like some really small trophy. They won the Champions League, the Premier League, and then the FA Cup, which is the English trophy. They won 3 trophies. They did the treble. Arsenal is a very, very good team, which is something I have been waiting to say since I was in high school. It's been that long since they've been this good. What I saw yesterday is the reason why the MLS kind of is a joke league because they will pay some European players a lot of money to come over in their final years, and that's what happens. And they aren't even like the best. I mean, obviously Messi's playing now, but not the best of the best. They get some guys that are really good, and then that's just what happens. It's just embarrassing. And to be fair, though, Arsenal did play all their starters, so it wasn't like in the second half they brought in some younger guys, but either way, there was a fully strong team out there. But I should have a story real quick after this. But yeah. But putting it into football terms, I mean, I'm not gonna go. I'll go Eagles. I mean, the season that Arsenal had last year was insane. They choked in the end. I'm not saying the Eagles choked, but they made the Super Bowl. They did everything they could, and they still lost.
Right. Okay. I can get behind that. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. I mean, when I stopped watching, the score was 1-0. I later found out that the final score was 5-0. And I'm just like, I went and watched every single goal, because that's just what I just had to see how that transpired. And it was embarrassing. I mean, it was embarrassing. It was such a complete mismatch on the field. You could just tell the skill gap, just the difference, between the guys that were playing out there. It was wild to watch, to say the least.
Yeah, you saw the first goal was the best goal. I don't even know how that went in. I didn't think he was going to score from that. That was a hell of a goal. But yeah, I mean, I was there on Tuesday at the MLS Skills Challenge, which is like kind of like how NBA does their skills challenge.
Yeah.
An absolute. It was weird. It was fun. But my story is I actually met Josh Kroenke, the son of Stan Kroenke. Josh, he plays a huge hand in Arsenal, but his father Stan owns the Rams, owns the Nuggets, owns the Colorado Avalanche, owns the Colorado Rapids. I was able to talk with him, who I've been a big hater of his father, but talking to this man, he talked to us for about 5 minutes. May have been one of the coolest things in my life. Like, and I found out he's worth $1.5 billion afterwards, so that was cool. But yeah, I kind of wonder though. I'm like, would like NFL owners like if you ran to Steve Bisciotti, like, would he like give you 5 minutes to talk to him? I just think about that. I'm not saying he wouldn't, but it was really cool. But yeah.
No, that's really cool. I actually think I might have saw you tweet something about that earlier.
Yeah,
or retweet something about that.
We got a picture with him and everything. It was weird.
That's really cool. So I mean, wow.
He had no security with him either. He had no security. Like, you're worth 1.5 bill. I looked up your net worth, and you have no security. Hey man, I respect it.
Hey. That's really cool. That, I mean, to be worth that much money and then also own like that much. I mean, you said he owns the Rams. His dad.
Yeah, his dad, owns the Rams. So
wow.
We all joked about it. Like, this man literally held the NBA Finals trophy how many weeks ago? So
yeah, wow, that's really cool.
Always find out where they're staying at the hotel because all the fans were crowded there. We just got there first.
Oh, really? Is that the trick?
Yeah, we it was a group of 4 of us. Mod Rush was there too. We were all together, and we went to the state. Yeah, we went to the stadium, and then we went to the hotel, and we were like one of the first ones there. And dude was just chilling outside. Got lucky.
We love to hear it. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Purple Rain Report. Thank you guys so much for listening and tuning into this episode. We will be back with more live streams next week as training camp will be getting underway for the Baltimore Ravens. So make sure you stay locked and loaded to the Purple Rain Podcast. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you can follow us on Instagram at the Purple Rain Podcast. You can see down below. You can follow this guy on Twitter at SimplyAs10, on Instagram at SimplyAs10.prod, and you can follow me on Twitter or Instagram at SuttonDef. You can see down below. Last but not least, our sponsor, Manscaped. You can go on manscaped.com, and you can get all sorts of products like the Lawnmower 4.0, the Beard Hedger, the Shed. They've got the ball deodorant. They got the ball toner. Everything for your balls that you can imagine and more. You can go on there, type in our code PRP, get yourself 20% off, plus free international shipping. Again, thank you guys so much for coming up to this episode of the show. We'll see you guys next week. And with that being said, I'm going to let my guy Alex take us out.
Thank you for coming through another installment of the Purple Rain Report. And as always, stay positive, test negative.
And never, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. It's been another episode of the Purple Rain Report. We're going to catch you guys in the next one.